Have you ever considered that extraterrestrials may be closer than we think? That they may have seen us up close and left us wonderful evidence of their presence on Earth? Evidence that, even in the 21st century, has not found an exact explanation. That impresses us, that goes beyond our capacity and human intelligence. It is unsettling to consider, don't you think? That is why now I will show you 10 amazing things that will make you believe in the existence of extraterrestrials. Get comfortable and let's get started. Number 1. Conditions for life on other planets. Until a few decades ago, it was believed that the Earth was the only planet with the necessary conditions to support life. However, today we have numerous records of planets with conditions to allow life to thrive in the same way it thrives on Earth. NASA has discovered a few candidates for life outside the solar system. Kepler-62e, Kepler-62f, and Kepler-69c, which theoretically would have liquid water on their surface, deep oceans, and a temperature similar to Earth. Kepler-69c orbited a star similar to our Sun and ruled out that it could have a rocky surface. Therefore, the probability of life being present was in the form of organisms adapted to water. With these discoveries, the planet Earth seems to be no longer a very special place, since there are more similar Earths throughout space, and the probability of finding life on some of them continues to excite us. Number 2. The Nazca Mummies. Jamie Mawson, a Mexican UFOologist and journalist, reported in July 2017 on 5 mummies discovered in sacred sites of ancient indigenous civilizations in Peru. What distinguishes these mummies? They were 1.68 meters tall, had 3 fingers on each hand, an extended cranium, no nose, and ears with humanoid traits, according to Mawson. One of these mummies, named Maria, was analyzed, and the results revealed an interesting fact. It belonged to a woman who lived in the 5th century AD, that is, roughly 1,000 years before Columbus's arrival. Experts have determined that she appears to be human, but is not. According to the generic report that has been performed, the mummy has similar structures to the human being, but is not one of us. The strangest part has to do with the shape of its hands, feet, and head, which has triggered all kinds of speculations, especially for being in an area as linked to extraterrestrial life as Nazca. This could be one of the greatest discoveries of the 21st century, since this mummy could have been representative of a certain race that may have reached an advanced stage long before us, perhaps thousands of years before. However, there are some skeptics who say that this is a fraud, since they say that these mummies were modified just to attract the attention of the world. And there is evidence that, according to them, affirm that this finding was altered. However, there are also other people who say that the same government was involved in order to modify these mummies, and thus deceive the world, saying that it is a fraud. What do you think? Could it be extraterrestrial beings that were living in this area? I'll leave that for you to think about. Number 3. Oumuamua. The importance of Oumuamua lies in the fact that it is the first asteroid detected that does not come from the solar system, and its strange behavior even led some scientists to consider the possibility that it was an alien spacecraft. In an investigation to be published in the journal Acta Astronautica, the experts explained that they used the Allen Telescope Array antenna field to try to detect artificial radio transmissions. The observations took place between November 23rd and December 5th, of 2017 and involved examining the celestial body for these kind of signals. However, despite looking for emissions with lower power than those generated by our cell phones, the experts were unable to find anything. After noting changes in its travel speed, the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics went so far as to suggest recently that the asteroid might actually be a probe sent to Earth intentionally by an alien civilization. Some scientists continue to claim that Oumuamua is a comet, but Abraham Loeb, chair of Harvard University's astronomy department, offers a counter-explanation. If it is indeed a comet, then why didn't it experience outgassing when it was closer to our sun? Tell me, do you think Oumuamua is a probe sent to our solar system by an alien civilization? Number 4. Extremophiles. This is quite interesting because on our planet there are extremophiles, which are organisms that can survive in very extreme conditions, either cold or heat, but also survive substances that are poisonous to humans. They could even live in a vacuum. So if something like this exists on our own planet, why wouldn't there be more species that could inhabit outside on another planet? Although the world of movies and fantasy makes us think of big-eyed green beings when we talk about extraterrestrials, nothing could be further from the truth. If there is life, for example on Mars, it will almost certainly be in the form of microorganisms adapted to extreme conditions and found underground. Perhaps in about 10 years, we will find extraterrestrial life, but not as intelligent beings, but rather as bacteria, plants, insects, or animals. Number 5. The Dropa Stone. Can you imagine being a student and going on an archaeological expedition to explore a series of caves in inaccessible mountains and finding many tombs with 1.38 centimeter long skeletons buried inside them? A bit scary, don't you think? Well, this is what supposedly happened in 1938. Chi Pu-te, an archaeology professor at Peking University, was on an expedition with his students in the Bayankara Ula mountain, near Tibet. What they did not know is that they would find what appeared to be the tombs of these beings, which had abnormally large heads, small bodies, thin and fragile. Inside these tombs, they would have found a few hundred stone discs of 30 centimeters in diameter called Dropa stones, or discs with holes of 8 centimeters in diameter in their centers. The discs and cave paintings are said to date back approximately 12,000 years. Over the years, several scientists had tried to decipher the strange inscriptions on the discs, but without success. It was Professor Sum Un Noi Hu in 1962, upon learning of the history of the discs, set out to identify their meaning. He and his colleagues intuited that they were not simple drawings, but rather an incredibly ancient script engraved in some unknown way and of an almost microscopic size. If this were true, it would be the oldest known writing in the world, since the discs are 10,000 to 12,000 years old. Could it be that these discs have an extraterrestrial origin? Or perhaps these discs were left by them so that we know of their existence in the universe. That would make sense because even we have sent a disc into space with the intention that some extraterrestrial civilization will find it and know of human existence in the universe. In addition, what do you think of these amazing findings? Do you think aliens are watching us closely? Or perhaps they are still studying us from the far reaches of the universe? Number 6. The Nazca Lines. Imagine looking out the window of an airplane and seeing a 365-meter hummingbird carved into the ground. Now imagine realizing that the design was carved sometime between 1 and 700 AD. This is how the Nazca Lines first became known to the Western world. Located in the southern desert region of Peru, the Nazca Lines are huge drawings on the ground, also known as geoglyphs. They are named after the ancient civilization that lived in the region, the Nazca. The lines range from spirals to intricate designs such as monkeys, llamas, and flowers. Some of the drawings reach 365 meters. That's more than 3 soccer fields, which means they are best viewed from above, from an airplane or satellite. However, these were created long before airplanes and satellites. This has caused generations of scholars to wonder why they were created, particularly if the Nazca could not enjoy the work in its full splendor. However, there are some peculiar figures that, looking at them, seem to be non-human beings or entities. The best known among the anthropomorphic figures is the astronaut, with a length of 32 meters, discovered by Eduardo Haran in 1982. Tell me, do you think this figure looks like a human? It doesn't, does it? At present, there are many unanswered questions such as, who built them? And what was their purpose? Are the lines signs left by an alien race? How could the Nazcas be so precise and symmetrically accurate with their works without using any aerial technology? Eric von Däniken, the famous writer, researcher, and UFOologist, believes that beings from other civilizations visited the Nazca Valley, using the lines as a landing zone for extraterrestrial spacecraft in the past. Number 7. Giza Pyramids Hieroglyphs. Ancient Egypt is home to the last standing wonder of the ancient world, the famous pyramids of Giza, which for centuries have hidden many secrets, both of pharaohs and their riches, as well as their secret chambers. But what never ceases to impress us is the structure, the perfect design and construction of this great feat. However, do you think humans were capable of creating this complex architecture alone? Moving 2.5-ton stones and arranging them in such a way that they perfectly coincide with the belt of Orion, as well as their faces facing the cardinal points, could not have been so easy with the technology and capacity of that time. Several specialists in UFOlogy maintain that the pyramids of Giza were built with extraterrestrial technology. In addition, they see in figures of the ancient Egyptian religion and its multiple artistic representations a clear reference to alien contact. Proponents of these theories have seen UFOs in Egyptian engravings, future technology in ancient hieroglyphs, and even claim that the skeleton of a fetus born to Pharaoh Tutankhamun is actually an extraterrestrial skeleton. Number 8. The Vikings in contact with extraterrestrial beings. In the 10th century, the Norse began an extensive exploration of Europe. It is not known why they began to explore, nor is it known if they received help from other beings. There are other theories that say that they were in search of deities, suggesting that the Vikings were convinced that the residence of the deities was physical somewhere on Earth. Were the Norse Vikings really in contact with extraterrestrial beings? In addition, did the ancient Vikings think of these beings not as alien visitors, but as gods? If so, then where could these celestial visitors have gone? The Vikings were one of the most technologically advanced peoples of antiquity, following gods like Odin and Thor, fearsome and mysterious. The Vikings were born explorers who embarked on epic voyages to Africa and the Middle East and even reached North America 500 years before Christopher Columbus. Were the Vikings guided by gods, or were they actually visitors from another planet? If so, we will never know. Number 9. Cave paintings of Val Camonica. We will go back to the vicinity of the Central Alps in northern Italy. We are talking about the valley of Val Camonica. In this incredible place, you will be able to see art dating back more than 10,000 years. Rock art. However, it is not just any art, it is nothing more and nothing less than cryptic drawings, known as petroglyphs, which seem to show men wearing helmets with strange weapons. The exact proof that maybe extraterrestrial beings arrived on Earth. Believers of ancient alien theories point to these rock carvings as evidence of prehistoric extraterrestrial visits to Earth and claim that the drawings were made by local people recording what they were witnessing at the time. Incredible, don't you think? Number 10. Tulli Papyrus. In addition to the amazing hieroglyphs found in the pyramids of Giza, the ancient Egyptians also left us one more clue that is impressive and has drove scientists crazy for many years because it has an important meaning. It is the Tulli Papyrus, a manuscript of just 20 by 18 centimeters, which, according to the facts related in the document, can be traced back to the reign of Pharaoh Thutmose III. Nevertheless, what exactly did the Tulli Papyrus contain to make everyone speak highly of it? Very simple. The account of the appearance of strange fiery discs in the skies and the strange consequences that this produced as the rain of fish and birds that is, the first UFO testimony of antiquity. However, no one has ever seen this papyrus, since it disappeared in the hands of the priest Gustave Tulli, who acquired it after the death of his brother Albert, the main owner of the papyrus. Years later, the first reference to the apocryphal document is published and translated by different experts. The millenary document reads as follows.
It is the 22nd year, 3rd month of winter, 6th hour of the day, among the scribes of the House of Life, was found that a fiery disk coming from heaven. Although it had no head, the breadth of its mouth had a foul odor. Its body was a rod long and a rod high. It had no voice. Their hearts were confused, so they lay on their bellies. They went to Pharaoh to report it. Now, after a few days, these things were more numerous than ever. They shone in the sky more brightly than the sun without the boundaries of the 4 pillars of heaven. The position of the fiery discs was powerful. Pharaoh's army stood gazing at them, and his majesty was in the midst of it all. It was after dinner, immediately after, the fiery discs rose to the south. Fish and birds fell from the sky. It was a wonder never happened since the creation of this earth. Caused his majesty to bring incense to pacify the home. What happened in the book of the House of Life will be remembered for eternity.
The papyrus will remain a mystery, but it shows us the contact the Egyptians had with extraterrestrial intelligence, don't you think? I hope you liked this video. Leave us your like, subscribe, and don't miss the next chapter. See you soon.